Hi everyone, welcome back to New Version, where we explore timeless books and ideas that help us grow, think deeper, and live more meaningfully. Have you ever been angry with someone, said things you didn't really mean, and then later sat alone wondering, why did I react that way? Or perhaps you've seen a friend succeed, and a strange feeling quietly rose inside you, not exactly happiness for them. And then you felt ashamed of having that feeling at all. I want to tell you something important. There is nothing wrong with you. Those emotions, no matter how uncomfortable they may be, are a deeply human part of who you are. Today, you and I are going to explore something that few of us were ever taught in school. How to understand our own emotions. Not to suppress them, not to pretend they don't exist, but to transform them into a source of strength. By the end of this video, you may see anger, jealousy, fear, and sadness in a completely different light. And perhaps you'll feel a little lighter as well. Everything we're about to explore comes from the book, The Power of Emotions. A book that teaches you how to use your own emotions as a compass, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and a more meaningful life. So stay with me. Let's begin. What are emotions and why you shouldn't suppress them? There's a question I think many of us have asked ourselves at some point. Wouldn't life be easier if I didn't have emotions at all? When we're angry but afraid to speak up, we wish we could be more indifferent. When we love someone but fear rejection, we wish we could feel less. And when tears begin to well up in the middle of a crowded room, we wish we could simply switch everything off, like turning off a light. But science tells us the opposite. Dr. Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist at the University of Southern California, studied patients who had damage to the parts of the brain responsible for processing emotions. Something remarkable happened. They no longer felt sadness, fear, or emotional pain. At first glance, that might sound ideal, but there was a problem. They also became unable to make even the simplest decisions, whether to choose one shirt over another, what to eat for lunch, or which job opportunity to pursue. They were effectively paralyzed by indecision. Damasio's conclusion was profound. Emotions do not interfere with reason. Emotions are the foundation of reason. So what exactly are emotions from a psychological perspective? They are a flow of energy moving through you, consisting of three interconnected parts. The first is the physiological component. Your heart beats faster, your hands tremble, your face flushes. The second is the cognitive component, the thoughts, interpretations, judgments, and stories running through your mind. The third is the behavioral component, the way you respond to the world around you. Together, these elements create what we call an emotional experience. The great Ming Dynasty philosopher Wang Yang once said something that I find myself reflecting on often. It is easy to capture a bandit in the mountains. It is difficult to capture the bandit within the heart. The enemies outside of us can often be avoided, confronted, or overcome. But the anger, jealousy, fear, and hidden wounds buried deep within the mind, those are the forces that quietly shape our lives without our awareness. Emotions are not the enemy. They are a compass. And once you learn how to read that compass, you will never truly be lost again. The three uncomfortable emotions: anger, envy, and shame. There are three emotions that most of us try to hide, not because they are rare, but because we feel ashamed of having them. Anger, envy, shame. Today, We're not going to hide them anymore. We're going to look directly at them. The first emotion, anger. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote in his work Rhetoric that anger is a natural response when we feel disrespected, insulted, or treated unfairly. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is a signal that one of your deeply held values has been violated. Most people deal with anger in one of two ways, and both are flawed. The first is suppression, swallowing it, burying it, pretending nothing is wrong. The second is explosion, saying everything that comes to mind without any filter. Suppression turns into resentment. Explosion creates wounds for others and for yourself. So what is the middle path? It is to look at your anger and ask, which value of mine has just been touched? What boundary was crossed? What need was ignored? What part of me feels unseen? As one saying goes, the people who allow you to be angry with them are often the people who truly love you or the people who are afraid of you. Think about the people you get angry with most often. Usually, they are the people closest to you, aren't they? Because around them, you don't have to pretend. The second emotion, envy. Dutch psychologist Niels van de Ven identified 3 different forms of envy. The first is depressive envy. You see someone else's success and immediately feel small, inadequate, and hopeless. The second is hostile envy. Instead of wanting to improve your own life, you secretly wish for the other person to fail. The third is admiring envy. You look at what they have achieved and think, I want that too. I can learn from them. I can work toward it. Only the third form is constructive, and it is a choice you can make. When envy appears, you can either let it become poison or transform it into motivation. As the book reminds us, there is very little in this world worth envying except those who can create happiness for themselves. Because true success is not having more than everyone else. It is being able to find peace within yourself. The third emotion, shame. Dr. Brené Brown, a researcher at the University of Houston, has spent years studying vulnerability, courage, and shame. Her research revealed something powerful. Shame grows strongest in silence and secrecy. When we hide our shame, it expands. When we share it with someone we trust, it begins to shrink. Shame is not the same as guilt. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad. Guilt encourages repair and growth. Shame encourages hiding and withdrawal. After interviewing thousands of people, Brené Brown discovered something surprisingly universal. Almost everyone experiences shame. The difference between people who are imprisoned by shame and those who live freely is not that one group has less shame. The difference is that free people are willing to talk about it. They dare to bring it into the light. And once shame is exposed to understanding, empathy, and connection, it begins to lose its power. Grief, jealousy, and fear when the heart is hurt. If part 2 was about the emotions that make us burn, then part 3 is about the emotions that make us shrink inward. Grief, jealousy in love, and fear. The first emotion, grief. In 1969, psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross published her groundbreaking book on death and dying, forever changing how the world understands loss and grief. Through her research, she identified 5 stages that many people experience in the grieving process: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally, acceptance. But grief does not only come when we lose someone we love. It appears when we lose a job, when a relationship ends, when a long-held belief falls apart, or when we outgrow a version of ourselves that once felt familiar. The writer C.S. Lewis experienced this firsthand after his wife, Joy Davidman, passed away from cancer in 1960. In the months that followed, he kept a journal documenting his grief day by day. Those reflections later became the book, A Grief Observed. In it, he expressed a profound truth. Grief is not a problem to be solved. It is a process to be lived through. So, do not rush to heal. Do not force yourself to appear okay when you are not. Allow yourself to be sad. Then, little by little, turn your attention toward what can still be done, what can still be loved, and what can still be lived. The second emotion, jealousy. Jealousy is the uncomfortable feeling that arises when someone else possesses something we deeply desire but do not yet have. It often emerges when we compare ourselves to others and conclude that we are lacking, inferior, or left behind. In romantic relationships, jealousy frequently appears as possessiveness and the fear of losing someone we love. Relationship therapist Esther Perel argues that love needs space in order to thrive. When we try to control another person because of our fears and insecurities, we are not holding on to them. We are pushing them away. The paradox of jealousy is simple. The tighter we hold on, the more likely we are to lose what we are trying to keep. At its core, jealousy in love often has less to do with the other person and more to do with wounds inside ourselves that have not yet healed. So instead of asking, "Why are they doing this to me?" try asking, "What part of me feels insecure, afraid, or unworthy and needs compassion and healing?" That question can change everything. The third emotion, fear. After spending 27 years imprisoned on Robben Island, Nelson Mandela shared a lesson that continues to inspire millions. "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." Fear has two primary sources. The first is survival instinct. This fear exists to protect you. It warns you of genuine danger and helps keep you alive. The second comes from beliefs shaped by culture, family, past experiences, and painful memories. And it is often this second kind of fear that quietly imprisons us. Psychologists frequently use a technique called exposure therapy to help people overcome fear. The principle is simple. Gradually and safely face what you fear. Start with the smallest possible step, then take another and another. Each time you move through fear, instead of running from it, your brain learns something new. I survived. I can do this. And little by little, the fear loses some of its power. Grief, jealousy, fear, these are not signs of a weak heart. They are signs of a heart that is fully alive. A heart that loves, hopes, risks, loses, and keeps moving forward despite the uncertainty. And perhaps that is what it truly means to be human. Happiness, a destination, or a journey? In 1938, Harvard University launched what would become the longest-running scientific study of human happiness in history. For more than 80 years, researchers followed the lives of over 700 participants, seeking to answer one simple question: what makes a good life? Dr. Robert Waldinger, the current director of the study, shared the central finding in a TED Talk viewed by tens of millions of people around the world. Not wealth, not fame, not achievement. The thing that keeps people healthy and happy throughout life is the quality of their relationships. This conclusion may sound surprisingly simple, yet many of us spend years chasing success, status, and possessions, believing they will eventually bring lasting happiness. But happiness itself is more complex than we often imagine. According to the Inner Compass, happiness exists in 4 different states, ranging from the most temporary to the most profound. The first state, excitement. This is the rush we feel when something new and unexpected enters our lives. a new job, a new relationship, a new opportunity, a new dream. Excitement is the easiest form of happiness to recognize. But it is also the most fleeting. Like fireworks in the night sky, it shines brightly for a moment and then fades. Many people spend their entire lives chasing one burst of excitement after another, never realizing that deeper forms of happiness exist. The second state, achievement. This is the satisfaction that comes from accomplishing something meaningful. Finishing a difficult project, reaching a personal goal, overcoming a challenge that once seemed impossible. Achievement brings a deeper and more lasting joy than excitement, because it is earned through effort and growth. It reminds us that we are capable of becoming more than we were yesterday. The third state, contentment. Contentment arrives when you look at your life and quietly realize, I am okay. What I have is enough. I do not need something extraordinary in this moment to feel complete. Contentment is not complacency. It does not mean giving up on growth. It means appreciating what already exists while continuing to move forward. In a world constantly telling us to want more, contentment is a rare form of wisdom. The fourth state, serenity. And then there is the deepest state of all, the rarest, the most enduring, serenity. This is the state in which your inner peace is no longer dependent on external circumstances. Success does not inflate you. Failure does not destroy you. Praise does not define you. Criticism does not shake you. You are simply present, fully awake to the moment, no longer fighting reality, no longer chasing happiness as though it were somewhere else. You discover that peace was available here all along. As the book beautifully suggests, happiness is the ability to be content and to remain steady and clear-minded in both success and failure. So take a moment and ask yourself, which of these four states do you spend most of your life in? Excitement, achievement, contentment, or serenity? The answer may reveal not only where you are today, but also where your heart is trying to lead you next. Today, we've explored 7 of the most powerful emotions in human life: anger, envy, shame, grief, jealousy, fear, and happiness. Before we part, I'd like to leave you with 3 final thoughts. First, don't try to eliminate your emotions. Learn to observe them. Your emotions are not who you are, they are simply waves passing through you. And no wave lasts forever. Second, every difficult emotion carries a message. Anger tells you something about your values. Envy reveals what you truly desire. Fear points toward what you have not yet dared to do. When you learn to listen instead of running away, these emotions stop being obstacles and become a compass guiding your life. Third, true happiness is not a mountain to be conquered. It is the way you walk each step of the journey. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to have everything. You only need to be present with the people you love and with yourself. As the book reminds us, imperfection is its own kind of perfection. You, with all your complicated, messy, sometimes contradictory emotions, are already enough. If something in this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Which emotion do you find the most difficult to manage? I read every comment, and I genuinely love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights from life-changing books and ideas that help us better understand ourselves and the world around us. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, be gentle with yourself